Hi guys, my name is Bruno and welcome to Football Worldwide. Hey guys, as I said, my name's Bruno. This is Football Worldwide and welcome to this week's edition of European Weekly Catch-Up. As Jonathan would normally put it, who is unable to join me today, wherever you're joining us in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And before we get into it, just some quick housekeeping. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to get all of your football content. There was an amazing reception when it came to the live Champions League draw, not just one, but both draws, because that was something to talk about. So don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all European football news. And for your convenience, we also put the timestamps in all of our videos to make sure that you can get to your relevant show as quickly as possible. But without further ado, let's get straight into the English Premier League. So, as I said earlier this week on the Everything EPL show hosted by Mo, sorry about that, there were plenty of penalties deciding plenty of games. So we get straight into our results of match day 16. Brentford defeated Watford in what was a 94th minute penalty. Manchester City defeated Wolves. Again, they received the penalty, and it also gave Sterling his 100th career goal. Chelsea defeated Leeds in a fixture where there were 3 penalties. Liverpool defeated Aston Villa with what was a 1-0 win, a penalty there. Arsenal were too strong against Southampton, winning 3-0. Norwich struggled against Manchester United in what was a 1-0 win there. Burnley and West Ham, nothing could split them. They drew 0-0. Leicester were far too strong for Newcastle in what was a 4-0 win. And Crystal Palace pulled on the woes against Everton in what was a 3-1 loss there for Everton. But Manchester City, they are doing the rounds. They are scoring the goals, and they won 1-0. There was a couple of talking points in this instance. The penalty itself, was it a handball? In my opinion, it was. And that's not just as a City fan, but his hand did stop the natural trajectory of the ball. But one of the bigger talking points was the red card, which was received in the first half, right on the 45th minute. Raul Jimenez, he gets a yellow card for pulling down a player, and then arguing with the ref, he continues to go. But then when they go to take the quick kick, he's standing 30 seconds earlier, getting his first yellow. So that was an interesting card there. Sterling, like I mentioned, got his 100th Premier League goal, and he really got the job done when it came to converting it from the spot. The pressure was on. Liverpool, again, they relied on a penalty from Mo Salah to get their 1-0 win. But the talking point came later on in the fixture, and Stevie G came out and said, look, there wasn't the return to Anfield that I expected, but there was definitely a penalty at the hands of Aston Villa where Alisson took down, I think, Danny Ings in the box and wasn't awarded a penalty. He was just fuming. It should have been 1-1, in his opinion. I potentially may have a Manchester United fan on standby to have a quick chat about what was the penalty that was awarded in the Manchester United game. So I'll bring him in. He's a familiar face. Anthony, mate, good to have you. Nice surprise guest. I know you don't have long, but talk to me about that Manchester United game. You're on mute or your audio's not working. Okay, it's not working, so I'll just take him back out. But it wasn't a penalty. He's popped in for quite a quick visit. It wasn't a penalty, but cool, calm, and collected Ronaldo. He gets the ball in the back of the box. But what I want to talk about is what Ragnick has done with this squad, because they look completely different. Fred, who has been criticized heavily for the last couple of seasons, has turned into prime Messi his last couple of games with another man of the match performance. Rangnick he's converted this anti-football behavior and he's just turned them into a more attacking squad, which is what you really want to see when it comes to Manchester United. They've spent far too long between Premier League titles, but far too long have they been looking for a suitable heir to what Alex Ferguson created with his Manchester United legacy. So it is quite interesting, to say the least, when it comes to Manchester United in the Premier League. But the table pretty much stays as is, with Manchester City on top on 41 points, 37 for... at the end of this match week, it was actually 38 points for Manchester City, 37 for Liverpool, and 36 for Chelsea. So very tight at the top. Manchester City just played this morning against Leeds and they won 7-0. So 6 different goal scorers there, but we will not be covering that today because we will definitely have something interesting. But I am going to the Serie A, and we will probably bring in Anthony again and see if his audio is working. So before we head into that, just your normal European Weekly catch-up segue. Here comes the Serie A. Let's get straight into it. Genoa lost to Sampdoria 3-1. Fiorentina far too strong, defeating Salernitana 4-0. Venezia and Juventus shared the spoils in what was a 1-1 draw. The same result goes for Udinese and Milan. Torino were too strong for Bologna, winning 2-1. Verona, although they got the early goal, Atalanta came back and won 2-1 there. Sassuolo defeated the abysmal-looking Lazio 2-1. Napoli struggled against newly promoted Empoli, losing 1-0 there. Inter far too strong for Cagliari, winning 4-0, and Roma defeated Spezia 2-0. So let's try this again one more time. Anthony, what are your thoughts on the Serie A this week? No, I cannot. Okay, we are waiting 1 sec. I can't hear you yet. No. So it doesn't seem to be working. But, guys, if you want to hear Anthony's thought, jump onto the Serie A roundtable because they did have a great discussion about the Serie A this week. We will touch on a couple of quick fixtures here. Juventus, they're struggling. They're struggling big time. They're getting results in the Champions League, but they are struggling big time when it comes to the Serie A. They're dropping points week in and week out. And, you know, it looks like a very strong uphill battle for them if they want to make the Champions League positions for next year. And their only route may possibly be winning the Champions Leagues itself. They currently sit 8 points behind Napoli on 28 points, and they are currently 4th. But it was all about the lead changed again in the Serie A for the 3rd week in a row. Last weekend, it was Napoli leading, and then Milan took the lead after Napoli dropped points. And then this week, Inter overtook Milan as Milan dropped points. But Inter are in formidable form when it comes to the Serie A. They are just deadly when it comes to getting their results and grinding away. They're doing everything they can in their power to get the job done and go back to back. It doesn't help that they just drew Liverpool in the Champions League, but their focus is solely on the Serie A at this point until February comes around the corner. And Inzaghi just seems to have been getting the best out of his men as he has over the last couple of weeks. And you really see this team starting to gel. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, again, an amazing performance from him. Yet again, he's performing extremely well. Another team I want to talk about is Fiorentina. Vlahovic, can he be stopped at the moment? He has scored 32 goals this calendar year. One off matching Ronaldo's record within a calendar year in the domestic league. And there are 2 games left to go when it comes to this. Vlahovic is valued at approximately 75 million. So no Italian teams will be looking to get him in January just based on financial fair play and the way everything works. But Commisso doing his best to get the most out of what he can when it comes to his star player. Verona, they have been doing well, but Atalanta were far too strong in that fixture there. They just and Atalanta, they're just a wrecking ball at the moment. Whoever they come up against, they're getting the job done. Lazio, Sarri was apparently the amazing successor to Inzaghi, but Sarri just does not seem to be taking off at the club. Immobile just does not seem to be firing when it comes to being in front of goal as he has in the past. Lazio have now dropped to ninth place in the Serie A, and it's probably been the lowest they've been for some time, if you really want to talk about that. But Zaccagni got his first goal for Lazio. Sassuolo are scoring from everywhere, no matter where they are in the park. They're getting their goals left, right, and center and getting the job done. They've caused some amazing results in the last couple of fixtures and who they've come up against. They beat Milan, they drew with Napoli, and they've now beat Lazio and a draw with Spezia in the middle there. Napoli, what can you say about that? Empoli, as Anthony would put it at the start, they're like the gentleman that walks into the bar, has a drink, and leaves every Serie A season. But they are coming up, and they're coming up strong. Cotroni, the ball came straight off his head, went in. They're currently 8th in the league. They're doing extremely well when it comes to newly promoted team. Just solely based on the fact they've already gotten 26 points, I really cannot see them dropping down to Serie B this season. But they have done everything they need to do in order to get where they are. The team has got an extremely great squad depth. Andrea Zolli, I believe the coach is pronounced. That's how it's pronounced. He's done fantastic things with this team. And just the results speak for themselves. They beat Udinese, drew with Torino. They beat the high-flying Fiorentina. They're doing fantastic things when it comes to the Serie A. And the last fixture in the Serie A I want to talk about is the Roma game. Mourinho, he's doing everything well. Smalling got the ball into the back of the net. And Ibanez getting the ball into the back of the net. Defenders doing what strikers should be doing. And all at the same time, they did it with a clean sheet in the record. They had 12 shots on target to 8. But Mourinho, he said, I haven't got a team like Inter, but at the same time, he's doing the best he can with this squad. And you really got to give him credit. I do feel there will be some interesting movements happening when it comes to the transfer window and Roma. I do see Mourinho making a couple of moves in that front there, but anything is possible as we move across to the La Liga and talk about what happened in match day 17 of the La Liga. Mallorca and Celta Vigo played out a boring 0-0 draw. Espanyol and Levante had 7 goals scored, winning 4-3 Espanyol. Alaves Getafe shed the spoils in what was a 1-1 draw. Valencia back in the winner's circle, winning 2-1 against Elche. Atletico Bilbao, they struggled against Sevilla in a 1-0 loss there. Villarreal, they were happy. They qualified for the next round of the Champions League and celebrated with a 2-0 win over Rayo Vallecano. Osasuna and Barcelona, well, nothing could split them. It was a 2-2 draw there. Real Betis defeated Real Sociedad 4-0. I want to talk about that Real Betis game in a moment. And Real Madrid in the Madrid derby, defeated Atletico 2-0. And Cadiz and Granada shed the spoils in what was a 1-1 draw. But before we get to the headlining fixture of the Madrid derby, I want to bring your attention to the Real Betis game. Because if you did catch it, you would have seen the fans throwing stuffed toys onto the pitch. And they literally filled up all of the sidelines with all these stuffed toys. So it is a tradition at Real Betis when it comes to Christmas, the fans throw a lot of toys onto the pitch, and preferably stuffed because they don't want anyone getting hurt. And they throw these stuffed toys onto the pitch in order to provide gifts for the children. And it's a great initiative by the club and fans. And it was amazing to see all of these everyone taking part, and they were collecting it. It was comical at first, but it was fantastic. Barcelona, their woes continue when it comes to La Liga. first time knocked out of the Champions League group stage in 21 years, and they're not looking too good when it comes to La Liga. They were winning 2-1 after 49 minutes, and they just failed to hold that lead and conceded in the 86th minute. And more news coming out of Barcelona is the impending announcement of Aguero's retirement. It was quite bizarre and upsetting when you see him collapse on the pitch with respiratory issues. These guys are seasoned athletes, so whenever you see someone drop like that, it is quite concerning. I'm assuming the reports haven't been too good on that front in regards to him continuing his footballing career, but he has done phenomenal things, and all credit to the guy. So I'm sure one of the boys will drop a quick short on our channel to make sure that you can keep up to date with all football news. But Real Madrid, they keep marching on. They defeated Inter in the Champions League final fixture 2-0. Then they picked up and went and faced Atletico Madrid. It was supposedly going to be a tightly contested fixture. Atletico Madrid did have a lot of chances, but they failed to capitalize on any of them, with Real Madrid controlling the ball with 61% possession, but only 3 shots on target with 2 goals. Benzema and Asensio both getting the goals there, and they really did push. And Real Madrid's now 8 points ahead at the top of the table, ahead of Sevilla. And Sevilla do have a game in hand, which I believe is against Barcelona. So that 8 points may turn to 5. But very, very concerning times when it comes to Barcelona and that squad. And very interesting times when it comes to Real Madrid, because they're not playing the best football, but in a league where a lot of the teams aren't playing as they have in the past, it's quite interesting to see that Real Madrid are taking full advantage and they are looking to reclaim their title as Spanish champions. Let's move on to the next league, the German Bundesliga. So as we pull up the results for match day 15 of the Bundesliga, you have FC Köln losing to Augsburg 2-0. Hertha Berlin were too strong for Arminia Bielefeld, winning 2-0 there. Bochum and Dortmund shared a 1-1 draw there in what was an interesting fixture, and another penalty awarded. Bayern Munich came back, I believe. Yes, they came back in winning a 2-1 victory there. Freiburg lost to Hoffenheim 2-1. RB Leipzig pulled on the woes for Mönchengladbach, winning 4-1 there. Wolfsburg were not good enough for Stuttgart, losing 2-0. Greuther Fürth defeated Union Berlin 1-0. And Frankfurt put 5 past Leverkusen, winning 5-2 in that fixture. Excuse me. But we just really need to look at, I'm not going to talk about any of the games specifically. I'm just going to have a quick run through and talk about a couple of teams here. Dortmund, they were 1 point behind. They were 1 point behind Bayern Munich come last week when they faced them, and they lost that fixture there. And then that 1 point blew out to 6 over this weekend. Bayern Munich just won this morning against Stuttgart 5-0, but we will cover that in next week's episode. So Dortmund, they are struggling. They got knocked out of the Champions League, although they'll draw equal points with Sporting. Sporting had the better head-to-head against them there, and they have drawn Rangers in the Europa League. So Dortmund aren't looking too fantastic, but the story is in the division here of the Bundesliga. The teams, the top teams, they're struggling to string a couple of wins in a row and maintain that pressure on Bayern Munich. And this week you had Dortmund dropping points, Leverkusen dropping points. So they're dropping points and allowing that gap to grow between the most probable winners of the league, Bayern Munich. But can anyone stop Bayern Munich? That's the question. And even if they didn't, Bayern Munich are getting the wins. They completed another perfect opening group stage of the Champions League with 18 points from 18 points available, 6 wins out of 6. So they're doing phenomenal things. This team is an absolute beast when it comes to Europe and domestically. They hold all teams accountable and show all teams, we have no mercy. So Bayern Munich are looking absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the Bundesliga. And although the rest of the league do have to play again this week, they currently have a 9-point lead on second place, which is Borussia Dortmund. And then between Dortmund and second and third, it's another 4 points. So it's interesting how those two teams have broken away so early on, only after 16 games. But it's one of the lesser competitive leagues at the moment, with England and Italy really showing how true competition is, with points barely separating the top 3 or 4 teams. So we move on to the final league, the French Ligue 1. As I pull up the results here, you had Nantes defeated Lens 3-2 in what was a great 5-goal fixture. Brest, they struggled at home, losing 4-0 to Montpellier. Reims were too strong for Saint-Étienne, winning 2-0. Lille and Lyon shed the spoils in what was a 0-0 draw there. Troyes struggled against Bordeaux, losing 2-1. Metz were far too strong for Lorient, winning 4-1 there. Agnes were no good for our favourites here at Football Worldwide, Clermont-Foot, and they lost 1-0 at home. Rennes lost to Nice 2-0. Strasbourg 2-1. Strasbourg struggled against Marseille, and they lost 2-0 there. And in what would have been the fixture of the weekend in the Ligue 1, it's PSG who took on Monaco, and Monaco far too strong, winning 2-0 there. Just quickly, PSG, they had a couple of lackluster fixtures, drawing 0-0 to Nice, I believe, and 1-0 to Lens. And then they just come out and they defeat Monaco 2-0. A penalty. Mbappe gets a double. He scored a penalty after 15 minutes and scores a goal on the 45th minute. Messi, quite unlucky to not get into the scoring. He had a couple of fantastic chances on and off the pitch. He played in the central attacking role. There were a couple of different opinions of this fixture, but one is PSG are just far too strong for this league. Their lead currently stands at 13 points. So they currently have a 13-point lead over Marseille, who Marseille actually do have a game in hand due to a game that was postponed. So nothing much to say there in regards to the leg. Normally we do around the grounds and ones to watch, but we do have a lot of domestic football happening midweek this week as well as on the weekend. So there is a lot of great football to be watching. But what I do want to talk about is COVID making a return to the leagues. We saw Tottenham's Conference League fixture being delayed, and we still don't know what the outcome of that result will be due to COVID. Their fixture on the weekend was also postponed due to COVID. Manchester United's fixture against Brentford this morning was postponed as they believe COVID has spread through to Manchester United squad. So, guys, there are certain protocols in place, and I don't say the league's shutting down due to COVID again, but at the same time, they are following strict protocols. And I really do like how England's taken this approach. No team should suffer due to this pandemic that's going on at the moment. So as a result, they're taking no chances and they are postponing the games. We saw a couple of issues within the Serie A last season where teams were impacted by COVID, and then the league said, well, you can postpone one game for COVID, but that's it. Now, that's not fair on the teams if you want to face your opponents at full strength. It's not fair on the fans who want to see a full strength team taking on their team, or their team playing at full strength, and they don't want to be hampered by COVID. But look, guys, it is going to be a constantly topsy-turvy sort of approach when it comes to this, because it isn't going away, this pandemic, but the show must go on. And I think all the leagues are sort of on the same page. But the decision in regards to Tottenham and Rennes Well, they've delayed it. They've pushed back the fixture. Words coming out that the fixture will be voided and forfeited by Tottenham, not because of anything, but because of the fact is that they couldn't agree on a time for the next game to be played. But that is all when it comes to the COVID news. What I do want to do is share with you guys a snippet of the Champions League draw, which we did do live. Red Bull Salzburg are facing Bayern Munich. Sporting Lisbon are facing Manchester City. Benfica are taking on Ajax. Chelsea have drawn Lille. Atletico Madrid are facing Manchester United. Villarreal are taking on Juventus. PSG and Real Madrid have set themselves up for a fantastic blockbuster there. And Inter Milan are facing Liverpool. So that is another fantastic fixture. There was drama after the first draw where Manchester United were accidentally drawn against Villarreal due to rules and the fact that they're in the same group. They cannot be drawn together. And then when Atletico Madrid drew Bayern Munich, the Atletico Madrid brought it up with UEFA and said, well, why wasn't Manchester United's ball put into the draw? And as a result, the integrity of the draw was tainted, and they redrew it within 2 hours of the initial draw taking place. So the Europa League draw happened, the Conference League draw happened, and then they redrew this. There were a couple of blockbuster clashes in there. PSG were taking on United, Inter Milan were taking on Ajax. But look, what was a fantastic draw. They've even set themselves up for a better round of 16 draw here. So, guys, let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this weekend. What draws are you really looking forward to when it comes to the Champions League? And don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. And also, don't forget to tune in for European Weekly Catch-Up, hosted generally by Jonathan and myself. He's been quite busy with work lately, and we just want to keep this content rolling for you. SerieA Roundtable, hosted by Anthony. Everything EPL, hosted by Mo. I was a special guest this week on that show there. We also do a couple of EPL and SerieA speed run, where in a quick 7 to 10 minute video, we run through that match day's worth of fixtures, just to give you guys a less in-depth view. The Champions League show, we do have, what do we have? Also a conversation starter with Tim and Owen. We should have another episode dropping of that quite shortly. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us here at Football Worldwide. If there's anything you want to see us cover, if there's anything you want to see us talk about, or if you want to get on the show, let us know and we will arrange for that to happen. But from all of us here at Football Worldwide, thank you, and we will see you on the next